What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. Look at that graph. We had another rough session, down over $240. Just a complete downswing right there towards the middle of the session. Had to fight back. We're winning some hands towards the end. Still wound up a losing session, got 4 hours in, 2,700 hands, good volume, and I think we would have made it back above the break-even point if we would have played a little bit longer, but that is what today is for. I know we've got some interesting hands, and let's jump right into the poker action. Starting out with pocket kings at the 10 NL table, we have one poster, and I open for 5x from under the gun. We get a call from the cutoff player who just posted, and we get a call from the big blind. Flop is king high. We have top set. Pretty draw heavy though. $1.55 in the pot. I continuation bet for 2/3 pot, and the player who posted 3 bets makes it $2.94, 3x my bet. And because this player posted and called, it's tough to put him on a range. There are jack nines, there's ace jacks in that range, but those are the only two hands that beat us right now. So I get it all in right here, and we get a call. It is an ace jack. We still have a lot of outs though. We are a 34.9% underdog, and we cannot get there by the river and wind up losing that pot and 100 big blinds on that hand. Next we're going to take a look at is pocket queens. We are at the 50 NL table, playing from under the gun +1. We are short-handed though. Only six of us being dealt into this hand, so we're pretty much playing from the hijack seat. We get an open from under the gun to 2.5x. I put in a 3-bet to $4, a little bit larger than 3x the open raise. And we get a call from the big blind, who has very fishy numbers, 53% VPIP, recreational, only 147 hands on this player, and we see a flop. There is $10 in the pot pre-flop, and the flop is rainbow jack high. We still have the queens over the board, so I lead out for a little bit less than half pot. We get a call. The turn is the ace of diamonds, so I slow up a little bit, and our opponent jams all in with 1950 in the pot and only 2572 in this player's stack. We are pot committed and going to be making this call. A lot of the times when a fishy player like this jams their entire stack into, they probably didn't hit that ace, because an ace would try to get as much value as possible, although sometimes fishy players don't play the way that you would think they should be playing. But I do make the call, and we are in the lead right now, although our opponent does have a lot of outs right here to a 6, a king, or any diamond, and a 10 comes on the river, giving us the pot. Alright, we are still at the 50 NL table, and again we have pocket queens. This time we're playing from the big blind, and we are still short-handed, 6 of us being dealt into this hand. We get an open from under the gun. The cutoff just calls, and I put in a 3-bet, make it $5 to go, 4x the open raise. Cutoff calls, and the button calls as well. Flop is ace high, just check back right here, and it checks all the way around, and we hit the queen on the turn, giving us second to top set, lead out for $10, and we get a call from the cutoff. The river is the 10 of spades, does not improve that many hands that would be calling on the turn. There is one flush draw that also has the straight draw, which is this exact hand, or any combination with the king of diamonds that would be calling on the turn. Most likely the jack of diamonds isn't going to call, and if it were king jack of diamonds, they probably would have bet that flop. So I lead out thinking that I am betting for value here, and our opponent jams all in, and right here I know there's a good chance we are beat, but I'm going to be calling down. It is only 43 left in our stack into a pot of over $100, so I do make the call, and we wind up losing that one to a rivered straight. Just a tough river card for us on that one. And now we are at the 100 NL table. We have ace queen offsuit playing from the button. We get an open from middle position. We get a call from the cutoff, and I'm putting in a 3-bet here, make it $13 to go, and we get a call from the cutoff. Flop is ace high, rainbow. We have top pair queen kicker. Our opponent checks, and I put in a half pot size bet, and our opponent calls. Turn does not improve many hands at all, and our opponent checks once again. I do not think a check right there was a very good move. Not really sure why I did that unless I was trying to get our opponent to bluff on the river. But since they called the flop, there's really no reason why they would be folding here to a bet. So I think a bet is probably a better move, but this does show weakness with our hand, and maybe we can induce a bluff when some of the draws miss on the river. And the 4 is another complete brick. All the draws do miss, and our opponent jams all in, and I do make the call, and our opponent did miss the draws, and it worked out perfectly. I'm just not sure if it was the right play. It might have wound up exactly the same, or we might have missed out on some value had we had not checked the turn, but I think we protect our hand a little bit against hands like this when we do bet the turn. So I think if I were to play it over again, I would bet the turn for probably around half pot once again and see if we can't get a little bit more value that way. Although we did get the maximum value with the check turn and induced bluff on the river. And now we're at the 200 NL table. We have pocket sevens playing from the cutoff. We get a limp from a fishy player in middle position. We get a call of the limp from a regular to our right playing in the hijack seat, and I just call here with the sevens being in position against these players. The small blind puts in a bet of $10. A lot of the times this is going to be a pretty strong hand when a regular good player puts in a bet from the blinds into a pot where there are already limpers who could very easily call being in position against this player. The big blind, who is a recreational player, we only have 51 hands on this player, calls the $10 bet. The original limper also calls the $10 bet. The reg to our right gets out of the way, and we make a call here with the sevens in position against all these players. Flop is queen high, monotone, all hearts. Not a great flop for pocket sevens, but we get checks all the way around to us, and I just check back as well. But we do hit the 7 of spades on the turn, giving us a set of sevens. Checks to the middle position player who puts in a 13-30 bet on the turn. I elect to just call here. I think putting in a raise is probably a better play here. We build a pot where we are most likely in the lead, and if not in the lead, could be very well improving to the lead by the river. But we do get one more player to call as well. There's now $82 in the pot, and the 5 of diamonds comes on the river. Any 8 out there now has a straight. It goes check, check though. I think we could probably bet for thin value here. But with 2 players in the pot, I'm okay with just showing down here as well. But I put in a bet for $28 trying to get that thin value. And we do get a call. And we take down that pot of $135 with the set of sevens. And here comes the big hand of the evening. I think you guys can see what is going to happen. We have pocket sixes playing from under the gun +1. Put in an open to 3x. We get a call from the player to our left. We get a call from the button, and the big blind comes along as well. Flop is ace high, 2-tone, 2 diamonds out there. We flop bottom set. Big blind leads out for $29.61. I just call with the set of sixes here. I don't want to scare these 2 players out of the pot, and we get a jam all in. This is a regular player, and this is a player who has won every single showdown when raising on the flop. The only hand I really saw coming that beats us doing this was a set of 8s that would just call my open bet pre-flop. But you would think a set in this hand would try to slow play a little bit and try to extract as much value as possible. I mean, it's pretty much just a cooler. You're going to lose set over set once in a while. It just seems like we are absolutely getting pounded at the 200 NL tables, and I do make the call. I cannot fold. It's $164 into a almost $300 pot right here, and we have a set. I mean, we're getting great odds, almost 2-1 on our money. I could see maybe something like ace king, maybe ace 8 making this play as well. I mean, there's obviously going to be pocket 8s. I didn't see the pocket aces coming because of the pre-flop slow play. But that is a pretty good play to conceal the value of the pocket aces against me. me by not pre-flop 3-betting. This is one of those rare occasions where it actually works out when someone slow plays aces pre-flop. So there goes the chips, $443 pot, and we are set over set. We hit a full house on the river, but we didn't need a full house. We needed a 6, and we wind up losing a giant pot, which seems to be a common theme. That was a big one, and that was part of that big old downswing in our graph. But just as often as we are on this side of a set over set, we're going to be on the other side. So that's going to even itself out in the long run. It just didn't work out for us this time. But we did accumulate enough points to give us a $100 reward by reaching the 70,000 CP point level. Cash in on that. And the bankroll is currently at 48.84 and a quarter, back below that 5K mark, and we got to do some work, get back on the tables, get in that volume, and get out of this downswing. I know we can do it. We're playing good poker. We're just not running very good right now. The only way to get out of that is by staying on the tables and putting in that volume and keep playing your poker game. Hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on any of the future poker action. Head down to the video description for links to America's Card Room, where I do all of my poker playing. There's also links for all the other poker products that I use in the video description. Leave your comments or questions in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will be back soon with a new video. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.